Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Kaiserreich. I have decided to end that war. It is really kind of pointless. The Syndicalists managed to... I just basically... So, you know that button that says conditional surrender that never ever does anything? I decided to press it. And then go over to France and have them manually accept it, go through the peace deal, and then just... because the peace deal was just like a horrific mangled mess, decided to resolve things by just like tag switching and then just like changing the tags of stuff. So the long story short is the Syndicalists control the stuff that they controlled de facto at the end of the war. So like they control the Ryukyu Islands, they control Taiwan, they control Iwo Jima, and they control like what is this Malaya. And they don't control any of mainland Japan because they didn't control any of mainland Japan. So I just did that. So this is like in many ways a more... This was the peace deal that I think the Japanese were kind of aiming for with the Americans before like Hiroshima and Nagasaki. This was kind of the thing that might have happened in a world where like Operation, I think it was Downfall, was launched and then failed. Like it would have been a peace treaty that looked somewhat like this, which effectively is what happened. Except it is worth noting the Chinese just sort of, kicked the Japanese out themselves. So it is what it is. All right, the AI is going to do what they're going to do with it. So who knows? All right, so they did a thing that makes sense. They released an independent Malaya. Great. So far, so good. Okay. There's an independent Republic of Taiwan. Now we have a inversion of what happens in our timeline, where the rightists end up getting kicked to Taiwan, and the leftists control the rest of China. We end up in a situation now where the rightists control all of China, and the leftists are chilling in Taiwan. That's pretty funny. I suspect these are just going to be kept. But that's sort of what my intention was. Alright, and our volunteers have come home because obviously there's no more war. I have a plan on, if nothing interesting happens in the next few episodes, I have a plan on how to make this game interesting. At the very least, like, end in a narratively satisfying way. I may have to do some mild cheating to get there, but, we've already kind of crossed that particular Rubicon, so whatever. We can get another infantry. Or another mountaineers. Let's do that. Let's get another mountaineers. And of course, I don't think we need to train anyone. Yeah, we're good. There's several possible outcomes that could happen here. There's the stupid version where the Japanese declare war on someone and just get their butts kicked. I'm not going to stop them from doing that. There is the version that there is the version where nothing happens. It is worth noting, there are currently no wars going on in the world. We're kind of at the end of Kaiserreich's content. Like, this is the game. We did it. We did a Kaiserreich. We never fought any wars, and we did a Kaiserreich. Look at us. However, there is a good chance that the French or the Russians decide to do something crazy, at which point we will be there. We will be there to deal with that. Let's see. Get better resource gain, more fuel. One of these really blow my mind. More research production. Might actually... soon we might want to do that, but not now. Not now. Let's see. Alright, these fighters. They even have an ace. Look at them. The volunteer mechanic is really nice for if you want to, like, roleplay as a country that doesn't have a reason to launch an offensive war. And, like, the Philippines super do not have a reason to launch an offensive war. Just, there is no reason. Alright, looks like things worked out the way I wanted them to. The Australasians randomly control Singapore for some reason, but I'm fine with that. More torpedo. Maybe Laterino. Maybe we get depth charge mortar. Yeah, I'll see that. Modern torpedo launcher. Let's go. Alright, I think that nothing ever happens might be the winner here. And if nothing ever happens as the winner, then I will make something happen. But we still have, like, 1947 to get through. At the speed that we're heading, we should be in the probably, like, mid-1948, assuming, you know, the nothing ever happens guy is right, and nothing ever happens. Minimum 25. Okie dokie. I don't know why they're practicing there. Anyways. Go, go, Commune of Hawaii. Go, go, Commune of Hawaii. Go, go, go. Go, 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 go. Yeah, we're just gonna grab a little bit of something. We could... Wait, what? Usually I go Wind Tunnel Pioneers. So maybe I do Wind Tunnel Pioneers. To get slightly more agile Mustangs. Will I do conversions? No. No, I won't. Having a stockpile of aircraft is a good idea. There we go. We have an air group. Add a new air wing. That air group. Alright, depth charge mortars. I have to start choosing. So do you want better anti-air and light attack? Oh, we can get both of these. So it's either better anti-air or better light attack. I think we need better light attack. I think that, like, without good light attack, we really don't have much. I mean, we can go Torpa Bomber, which is actually a thing that I might do sooner rather than later. As soon as I free up a tech slot, I'll start getting Torpa Bombers so that I can start doing that. But, you know. In many ways, this is sort of like a commentary match. Because I'm not actually playing that much game. Alright, air-launched torpedoes, let's go. Naval Aircraft Designer. could go down to limited exports, but, like... Nah. I could go international market. I could sell stuff. Maybe. I could buy stuff. Is there anything I really need to buy? Maybe tanks. Tanks could be fun. Yeah. We could just buy some freaking crappy Turkish tanks. The Uyghurs. There are points to that? Do we want to? We could buy modern T-54s. Apparently we could buy a T-54. I don't think we have the money, but, like, it's very funny that the Russians are, like, selling their... Okay. That is... what I would describe as not a huge deal. That's sort of the last independent, non-syndicalist state. And, would be the sort of, like, operative word there. So, unfortunate for Uruguay, but no surprises here. Air Doctrine, we're sort of out of the realm of any of this being useful. I mean, I could go night bombing. I think I might, like, if I ever do strat bombing, it'll be night bombing. I don't think I'll ever go strat bombing. It just requires an industrial base I simply do not possess. Really, I went that way specifically to, like, you know... I went that route specifically so I would be able to avoid... What am I looking for? I went that route specifically so I could avoid doing anything silly. Or, no, specifically so I could defend my own airspace. That's it. That's everything. That's all I need. That's it for Uruguay. Okay, so something interesting did happen. Okay, so something interesting did happen. Paris against Moscow. The world knew Europe slept uneasily after German defeat. With the victory by the Third Internationale over the colonial empires of Africa and Central Europe, only Russia could stand in the way of syndicalist world domination. Now, the Russian and French ideological systems, forged from the ash of defeat by Germany, will clash in a struggle for world order so bloody, it looks like it will put the Second Weltkrieg to shame. Beyond the front lines, the citizens of warring powers are in danger like never before, with the advent of aerial death machines that threaten to obliterate whole cities within hours of declarations of war. As both sides mobilize the few remnants of pre-war peace wonder, will Europe ever rest? Evidently not. So it goes. And this puts me in an unenviable position. Do I throw my weight behind the Russians? What happens if the Russians dominate all Europe? Will they dominate all Europe? How will the Americans respond to this? I don't know. Secret resources procurement. No comment. The embers of democracy are maybe dying, but... well... better than the Reds, I suppose. Yeah. The Cindies, I think, put themselves in a bad position by launching all those attacks. They lost a lot of guys. Railway gun? Maybe. It seems pointless, but maybe. I don't really want to fight for the Russians. Maybe I'll try to fight for the Poles.
Ready. Ready. Orders. Ready, sir. Commands. Listen up.
All right. Congratulations on your promotion. Jesus, defend Poland. One of the few powers I will remind you. Why Poland? Well, they're one of the few powers in Europe that are not some form of syndicalist or authoritarian. Serbia, I think, will receive, maybe, a similar gift. They are liberals.
All in. Attention. Ready to move. Ready, sir. Attention.
All right, you folks, led by probably Basilo Valdez. All right. Serbia and Poland will accept, and we will see who the winners are. Whether the might of Western Europe can overwhelm, or whether the might of the East will be dominant. I am betting on the East, I think. Although there still are, I think, some Oh yeah, I forgot. Atom bombs exist. Okay, well maybe I'm not so sure. Atomic bombing of eastern Switzerland. For the first and hopefully last time, I doubt that, in history, a nuclear bomb has been detonated in eastern Switzerland as part of international warfare. The unprecedented destruction stands as a testament to the devastating power of this new weapon, which is feared not only for what it can do to its target, for the implications it has for the one who deploys it, and for humanity itself. The world is holding its breath, waiting for what to come next. Will this force the Swiss state to surrender to avoid further terror, or will it only strengthen their resolve to strike back against those who resort to such measures? The atomic era has truly begun. Alright, well, a bomb has been blown up over Zurich. That's... I don't know what that means. I will say the lines of the Reds are strengthening, but the Czechs have at least managed to gain control over a little bit of Moravia. The Bosnians are in a bit of a pocket. I don't feel great for them. The Swiss, well, you know. I mean, they're doing all right. Atom bomb or no atom bomb, they are holding out. One can question how long, though. All right, our divisions have arrived.
All in.
The Serbians, what they're expected to do is pretty obvious. I could try holding out in the west, but I think the best thing I can try to do is go try to take Sarajevo. If this pocket is eliminated, then that's wonderful. Though I will say it's not technically a pocket yet.
All in.
And so I suppose what I should try to do is make it one. Go here.
Ready, sir.
Whereas, what do I do? I think right now, just, like, fight in Posen is the best I can do. Ah, and the Air Forces, of course. Got quite a few of those. Alright, so fighter wings. You guys? Let me make a new air group. You will do. And you will do. You, gentlemen, should come here. And you, gentlemen, should come, here. And give air superiority here. And to do interception here. Oh, what a mess.
Ready, sir. Under fire.
Yeah, I hardly feel the... Ah, that's it for the Swiss state. Okay, they lasted a little bit longer than I expected. The Swiss state has surrendered to the Commune of France following the atomic bombing of Zurich. Switzerland has been now fairly well split.
Come on, move out.
Yes, I'm not sure I'm in much of a position to
Ready to move.
actually threaten anything. We'll see what I can do here. Though that's something. I might be able to push in. Probably not, though.
Keep on moving.
I'm not confident about this position. I think I'm probably better on the defense than I am on the offense, so... maybe hold the line here. Yeah, I feel like trying to hold Rijeka is maybe our best bet, actually, after all. The Reds will want to try to take Rijeka, and we don't want them to do that. Our fuel consumption is a serious issue. Suppose we get some from the Russians, but I don't really want to. You know what? We'll split the difference and grab as little as we possibly can from the Russians. There. Wonderful. And then I'll get started working on synthetic alternatives, just in case I need them. Whoa, we're getting smoked real quickly. Yeah, those armor divisions are pretty beefy, and we are a long way from home. Yeah, we already lost one of our divisions in Serbia. Just got crushed. Yeah, and another one's gonna get crushed in Rijeka. Whatever's going on in Serbia is bad, bad, bad. Yeah, we've already lost troops in Serbia. I might as well pull out with what I've got. Yeah. In Poland, things seem to be a little bit easier to handle, but yeah. Against these heavy armor divisions, our light infantry are just getting crushed. We don't have any hardness. We just don't have the industry necessary to actually deploy armor. Boy, I bet if you're the Nordic... I bet if you're the Nordic Federation, you're like, dang, we're so smart. Because they are staying out of all this. Sure, they can send, like, volunteers, but, you know. It ain't the same. Uh-oh. And there is the second shoe dropping. Yep, this was what I was worried about. Is the Chinese are going to stab the Moscow Accord in the back. So now we have a world war on our hands, a true world war for the third time. This is World War III, happening in the late 1940s. Wonderful. The Americans, so far, have stayed out of it, as has Japan. No one seems to care about what's going on in Australia. Why'd I call Africa Australia? The Australians are, of course, part of the Syndicalists. Where this goes, who knows? But that was sort of the other thing I was wondering about. Like, what happens if the Chinese decide they really want Tibet back? The answer is Russians are facing a two-front war, and in many ways are facing the same they're facing down the same phenomenon that smashed them when they were that smashed the Germans in the Second Weltkrieg. Is, can you fight on two fronts at once? The Germans managed it in the First Weltkrieg, but this is the third one. We'll see. A war far larger than anything that humanity has seen before. Fortunately, we're staying out of it. Or maybe the Japanese will see this as their opportunity to finally, let that other shoe drop. And maybe launch an attack on the Philippines now that no one seems to care about the Philippines. I might go make that happen, but we will see. And I will see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.